Welcome to the Tax Awareness Show. My name is Shilipo Mutiba. I'm your host. And today on a profiling corner of the Tax Awareness Show, I'm joined by Zama, and we're going to talk about her career as the head of tax. Imagine, of a listed company. How amazing that for Black Child Shine. Welcome, Zama.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chili Boy. Thank you for having me here.
No, you're welcome. Can you just tell us, before we even talk about who's Zama and what you do, tax is this thing that people don't necessarily like, and understandably so. But for someone, just in a nutshell, what would you say a tax is?
All right. So, see, tax it's nothing new. It's something that has been there for literally Bible days. You see it where people started collecting. And the purpose of tax is mainly the government is trying to get financial assistance to take care of all the public needs, the roads, the social grants, safety, and making sure that, we are living in a country that is well taken care of. And the government receives that funding from you and I, in a form of different types of taxes. You get your income tax when you're getting a salary and you're working. You pay that type of tax. You get your consumption tax, like your VAT, whenever you go buy at the supermarket. So it's just a way of our government of collecting funds so that they can take care of our public needs. Yeah.
Okay. But before we even dwell into the discussion, I need to shine, guys. My black sister is successful. She's a head of tax of a listed company called Zeda. Who's Zeda? And how are you feeling about being such a young, competent, young black lady and being at the head of tax of a listed company at Johannesburg Stock Exchange? How does it feel?
It feels good. It feels scary. It feels very humbling. I honestly didn't see myself at this age that I'd be sitting here, first of all, having this conversation with you as a head of tax of not just any company, but one of the, the integrated leading mobility solution company, right? So a lot of people might not know the word Zeda, but they may know Avis, right? So Zeda is actually a mobility solution company operating under the brand Avis and Budget. So what we do, we offer different solutions. Your rent-a-car business, a lot of people are familiar with the rent-a-car business. If you want to rent a car, you're traveling, you don't always have to drive all the way to Durban. You can just take a flight and then we'll take care of your needs as Zeda. And then there's also the car sales business. If you want to get yourself a car, whatever type of car, from luxury to just a small cute car, we take care of all markets. We also have the Avis fleet business, which is where you come and you lease a fleet of vehicles from 5 to 10, however, quantity that you would like. And then we do a long-term lease. And then we also do full maintenance on the leasing. And yeah, we take care of any mobility needs that you may require. So that's Zeda. And yeah.
Maybe let me take you back from your childhood. I think let's start there. How was your childhood? Tell us about your childhood. Where did you grow up? I'm sure there's that young child who's sitting in the middle of somewhere in Eastern Cape and who's looking at you, who's so proud. I'm so proud by just sitting next to you. I feel privileged, by the way. I feel privileged, guys, sitting with the head of tax of a listed company. It's a privilege for us to be sitting. But for that young child in the middle of Limpopo villages there, she want to relate to you. How was your childhood? Where did you grow up?
All right. So I grew up from Mpumalanga province in a town called Ermelo. That I stayed there in my primary school from creche all the way to grade 7. And I was raised by my aunt. And I was raised by my aunt and grew up with a cousin of mine. We are the same age. And we were inseparable. People thought we were twins. They still do when they see us. That time we're just cousins. We don't even share the same mom and dad. So my aunt actually, interesting fact is that she took us to an Afrikaans school.
Oh.
When I say Afrikaans school, I mean we were taught in Afrikaans, everything in Afrikaans.
Okay.
We only did English as a subject.
Okay.
So the nice thing is that at least I had my cousin to help each other with homework, because even though, you know, his parents, my aunt, they were not like obviously as proficient as us in Afrikaans, so we would have each other to help each other with homework. And the reason for that, Afrikaans was the best school at that time in Ermelo, and she just wanted the best for us, you know, to get the best education. So then in high school, that's when I relocated and I stayed in Carolina, still continued to study in Afrikaans, did Afrikaans high style, literally, all the way until matric. And then after matric, that's when I was like, okay, I can't get a degree in Afrikaans, so it will be a bit challenging. I just thought it would be a bit challenging and to just get a job. So that's when I specifically went to study at the University of Pretoria. I specifically went there because, first of all, it was closer to home, and at that time it also offered degrees in English and Afrikaans. So I felt like, okay, if maybe after a couple of months I feel like maybe I'm not coping to now study full-blown everything in English, I can just always switch.
So you were doubting that you could excel in English?
Look, I always plan for in case
Option B.
in case something doesn't work, you know. I didn't want to be now going to start from scratch, you know, go and reapply at another school and whatnot. But I wasn't too worried because I loved reading a lot. I still do. So my English was quite good. But it was more like getting used to the jargons in English now and familiarizing myself that, okay, now I need to think in English. I used to think in Afrikaans.
Oh, wow. Serious?
Yes, because I mean, you spend more than 8 hours in school, you know, and you speak Afrikaans with your friends.
Yeah.
You know, and especially if you're in an Afrikaans school, you would predominantly speak in the language that everybody understands, you know, without excluding someone and making them feel like, you know, but why are you not talking to me? I also want to be part of the conversation. So that's why I was conditioned to literally think in Afrikaans, because I spoke the language most of the time. But then when I would get home, I'd switch, you know, I'm literally a typical black child from the township, you know, nothing special about me. You know, went through the same experiences like any other black child, especially when I had to go and stay with my mom. Life was quite a bit tough financially. So making ends meet, it was quite difficult. And my mom at that time was the only person working, and we were staying at my grandmother's house, and there was like more than 10 of us. And at the time, my mom was just a security guard, not earning enough. So I had to go through all of that, you know, sometimes going to school without eating, sometimes coming back and there's no food at home, you know, went through all of that. But what kept me going was I had to push, you know, I was like, the only way I can get myself out of poverty and give myself a better life is to really work hard. And that's something that also my aunt instilled at a very young age. She was very strict, very hectic. But I appreciate all of that so much when I have to look back, because all of my values and morals were literally, you know, instilled by her.
I was actually going to ask what values your aunt actually instill in you, because by these results that we're sitting here with, surely your aunt did amazing work. But what did she actually instill in you? What values did she instill in you?
So my aunt, she was very like a neat freak, you know. House must be spotless. You know, she does not miss a spot. So which means she was very like attentive to detail, you know, especially when she was still teaching us to clean, she would literally move a couch and be like, but here, you didn't clean, you know. So that gave me also the desire to always double, triple check, you know. That's why sometimes when I miss something, I beat myself so much. I'm like, how did I miss that? How did I not see it, you know? Because she was like a perfectionist. Oh, she has passed away. That's why I speak to her in like past tense. She was a perfectionist. And another thing she would make us wake up early. So as a child, especially in primary school, we wake up early every day to go to school. My cousin and I would wake up at 5, be out of the house at 6 to get to school and be ready for assembly at 7. So for me, weekends, especially only Saturday, because Sundays we wake up early, go to church as well. Saturday was the one day where I wanted to just stay in bed and just relax and have fun. But at 6, she'd be like, wake up, Sissy, the dishes are waiting and whatnot, and then you're just like, you don't want to do it, right?
I could relate.
But then that taught me that you need to, if the stuff that you need to do, you wake up, you do it, and then you can rest when you're done, and that's how I live my life. You don't always feel like waking up, and there's certain tasks that you drag yourself, but it still needs to be done, and there's no one that will do it besides, yourself. So she told me that wake up, do it, and do it, wholeheartedly, and when you're done, you can rest, you can sleep the whole day, she won't have a problem because she knows that your chores are done, you've done everything that you needed to do. And I think lastly, it was when it comes to quality, my aunt was like the best of nothing, looking at how she took us to an Afrikaans school, which, back in the day, it was something that was frowned upon because we're Black, right? And at that time, the school that we went to, it wasn't even bilingual, like most schools now, you get the English classes and the Afrikaans classes. For us, it was just Afrikaans, and that's it. And for her, it was like, you guys will learn, because I want the best education for you guys. I want the best in everything that you do. So that for me, it's also like in everything that I do, I want to give my best, and people must just receive the best of me and nothing less.
And you are the best. So
thank you.
All these values that she instilled, I can hear the attention to detail, time management, which are some of the very, very key skills, required skills to survive as a tax advisor or tax professional. Yeah. As a tax advisor myself, I know how important it is to pay attention, because you miss that comma there, then you're interpreting the legislation incorrectly. Then it costs millions, right?
Yeah.
But what inspired you to take tax as a career?
You know what? Tax found me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I did not go looking for tax, none of that. So when I went to study in university, I initially enrolled for internal auditing, because in high school, we did a chapter in accounting where it was auditing. And I was like, okay, this is very interesting. Maybe I can pursue a career in internal auditing. And I was quite good in accounting. It just came natural for me, or numbers rather. So I was like, okay, whatever I'm going to study must have numbers, because I don't have to put in that much effort in it. Then I enrolled for internal auditing, which I loved at University of Pretoria, because it included financial management, financial accounting, internal auditing, and tax as a major, right? Okay. And then after I did internal auditing for a year, the nice thing is that in first year, when you're doing BCom at University of Pretoria, you mainly do the same modules.
Yes, correct.
Then there was a module programming, right? Me coming from high school, I never did any computer studies or IT or whatnot. That was like a thorn in my flesh, because I struggled with programming. I didn't get it. My brain was just not conditioned in a way to grasp it. Then I saw that, okay, I need to change my degree real quick, because first of all, I hate failing. There's no way I'm going to be here and it will take me 5 years for a 3-year degree or whatnot. And I could quickly identify this one is going to be a problem for me, but I still want to pursue finance and all of that. And then they had a qualification called financial science, and it was quite new. And it was literally exactly everything that internal auditing had, excluding the programming, because the purpose of programming, they wanted you to be able to audit, to be a programming auditor. And I knew that that's not the path that I want for myself. Yes. So I continued. I struggled with tax. Believe me or not, I struggled with tax. It was hard. Amongst my 4 majors, that was one of I just couldn't get it. For me, it was too much like accounting. When you do your gross income, it's the same way you do income statement. But now there's all these rules. I was like, hey, you know what? This seems like it's a bit much, right? And then I remember walking back from campus. So the nice thing is that with financial sciences, in order to graduate, you needed to only do 3 out of the 4 modules, right? And this was like 3rd year. I'm about to register for my final year. I was walking from campus with this friend of mine. I'm like, listen, I'm not registering for tax because I don't want to see a fail in my transcript because I really had a serious problem with failing. I still do. And then my friend was like, no, continue and do tax, right? Because tax is relevant. Everyone is a taxpayer. So that whenever they talk about tax, you at least know what they're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So even if you fail it, you're still going to graduate, right? And I was like, but the fail, I don't want to see the fail.
Yes, on my transcript.
Then she's like, just do it, right? Okay, then I did it. I passed it, right? And then because of like my background, like I told you, like back at home, things were very tight. I just wanted to go work and improve and help my mom financially. So I didn't plan to study further. I was like, listen, just get your degree and go work. And then I got a job at the tax department immediately after I was done with my undergrad. It was a tax one-stop. And interestingly enough, they wanted someone that's bilingual that could speak English and Afrikaans so that you can assist both Afrikaans students and English students. So I was like, okay, this is perfect. I can speak the language. I haven't spoken the language like consistently since high school. So it would be nice, to have the opportunity to actually speak the language again. So I worked at Tax One Stop as like a receptionist, would also assist with marking for students. I'd also assist with like tests and come up with questions. That's when I actually started loving tax. When I worked at the one-stop department, I was like, actually, this is not as bad. And then I realized that I struggled with it in undergrad because you have so many modules.
Yes.
Like so much going on. And then that was the one time I got to focus entirely on tax and really get to understand it. And I was working specifically with the second year students because in University of Pretoria, you start doing tax from second year. So I fell in love with it. And then the one time the head of the department at the time came to me, she's like, Zama, like what's your plan? What do you want to do? What do you want to... I was like, I want to work. I just want to make money and help at home. That's all I want to do. I just want money. Just to help my family, and that's it. And then he was like, no, but I see that you're quite good at tax and the questions that you ask. Why not study further? Because if you study further in tax, it will open the doors for you. Then you'll get the money that you want, and you're able to take care of your family even better, because it is a bit challenging to get like a good paying job if you're not that educated, right? So I heeded his advice. I applied, I got accepted. That's when I was like, now I need to push, now I really need to push. Here I am today, have a master's in tax.
Oh, wow, congrats. And
for something for a module that I almost dropped, little did I know that's the path that, God had planned for me. And that's what's taking care of me now. Do
you blame the guy when he said study further, you'll have money?
I genuinely don't, because I was young. How old was I? 21, 22, somewhere there. So I want to thank him. I appreciate that advice that I got, because if he did not tell me to study further, I would have just continued to work and worked without upskilling myself, So I really did. I think he also just birthed that desire to want to learn and know better.
You pretty much touched on your experiences at your early stages of your career. Maybe just briefly also on that, just touching briefly on that, but also touching on some of your milestones in your career as a tax professional.
All right. I think the first milestone was actually being accepted to do my articles at Ernst & Young, which was one of the big four leading firms. And it's not always easy to get into the big four, right? So that was for me a big win. And I did my articles for 3 years under the SITE program. And then after that, I got retained as an assistant manager. And when we started, we were like 22, right? But obviously the firm couldn't retain everybody, of course, right? Because it's all about just giving you the experience, the stepping stone, and then, they select. So being an assistant manager at Ernst & Young was a big deal. And that very same year, that's when I also enrolled my master's. So it was challenging because I was juggling master's and assistant manager, and it was a 1-year program at the University of Pretoria, so doing research and coursework and figuring out being a manager. So getting that opportunity is what led me to be here today, because to even get the head of tax position, you had to have masters. You have to have the right experience, the right knowledge to be able to occupy this position. And not forgetting, the group financial director at Zeda. How when I started at Zeda, she actually is the one that approached me and gave me my
girls power.
I'm telling you. So for me, that's also like a milestone, because then that's when I got my job, and I'm loving it at Zeda. I'm enjoying it, and it's that one door that she had opened for me, and all the other doors just kept on rolling and rolling.
Just a stranger opening doors
for you.
You've been having, can you say that you've been having angels all
around me?
How amazing.
No, I think I'm God's favorite child.
You are, and you're very spiritual, eh? Yeah. Yes. But tell me, you're speaking of being a head of tax, maybe take us through your role. What it entails, what responsibilities is head of tax? I mean, someone could be hearing all these fancy titles. Okay, Shilpa, we're hearing you and Zama speaking about being head of tax of Zeda.
But what is
this
thing?
Is this thing? What is this head of tax? Yeah, what it entails. What is your day-to-day looking like?
All right. So at Zeda, we operate in 10 African countries, the sub-Saharan countries, and being a head of tax is literally ensuring that all of those 10 countries, we are fully tax compliant. I'm leading the tax department of Zeda, and that requires, being knowledgeable and knowing what's happening in each country, from a tax perspective, from a compliance perspective. And I'm not doing it alone. I do have a team, and I also work a lot closely with like financial managers, to support me in this journey. So day to day would be, also attending to business queries, whenever there's a transaction that we are proposing, or a transaction, that a company, a customer, experience with us, and they want to understand the tax better and be like, okay, I want to understand why is it like this or whatnot. So I'm the person that provides support, I need to, because, we always need to make sure that whatever is happening in operations and in finance, we are also tax compliant, right?
Correct.
Making sure that our tax returns are filed on time, payments are made on time. And you can imagine like operating in 10 countries, and almost in each and every country, you have like 2 businesses, like the rent-a-car business and the leasing business. So there's a lot of VAT returns in a month, that you need to go through, withholding taxes, everything that screams tax. I need to make sure that we are compliant and provide tax strategy to the group. That's basically what head of tax entails. Just making sure that
busy sounds quite busy.
It is. It's very busy, and earlier I said I'm enjoying it at Zeda because that's the place where I got the opportunity to understand tax in beyond South Africa. Now I had to understand the different legislations, but through that process, I've learned that South Africa is like the blueprint, when it comes to Africa, because a lot of the transactions are very similar in South Africa, just there and there where there'll be nuances and whatnot. So I'm enjoying like learning, I'm literally learning every single day. This, keeping being updated with what's happening in the changes in Zambia as an example, So yeah, it is a lot, but it's fun, and it keeps me like intrigued and to continue to learn. Yeah.
I mean, you are successful at a fairly young age, and one cannot really believe that there have been no setbacks or challenges around during your career. What has been some of the challenges that you can actually draw, and what has been the lessons from such challenges?
Okay. I think literally starting out at Zeda, having to understand tax in different jurisdictions.
Okay.
That was challenging for me because I'm coming from, I only did South African tax and that's it, right? So it would be a challenge because now you're on your own. When it comes to a firm, you can quickly walk to someone. Oh, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? So you had to build a network for yourself, in the sense of getting external service providers to assist you, learning and upskilling yourself, spending a lot of time investing in reading through the act. Believe it or not, there'll be times where I'd sit and I'd page through a Namibian Tax Act. It's something that I wouldn't normally do on a random day. So I had to pour a lot of my time, my energy, so that I can give Zeda the best of me, like I said earlier. So it would be a challenge for me, because you need to step outside of your comfort zone. You need to build relationships, and you need to be honest enough to put up your hand when you're like, you know what, let's get a second opinion on this one. Because like I said earlier, I struggle with failing, and then sometimes I'll be like, no, I'm gonna keep on trying and doing this until. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with putting up your hand and be like, you know what, I'm struggling in this front. And what I love with Zeda management, they're very supportive. If I come forward and be like, I think let's get a second opinion on this one, like, okay, sure, because we all have the same goal, which is to make sure that we are compliant and everything goes according to how it should be. So I'd say that was the biggest challenge, apart from when I was growing up and financially to even get funding. Because what I did for my honors and masters, I actually only paid for my registration fee, and I was like, they're actually not going to kick me out. You just need to register. So financially, when I started working, I had to go pay back all of those my studies. Same thing with masters, I had to pay all of that. So it costs you a lot it took me a lot to be here. A lot of studying, a lot of sacrifices with family time, with friends. You're always so busy, but there's a vision, there's a goal.
Exactly. You spoke of having a team around you, and as a corporate leader yourself, which again, we're proud. What you as a corporate leader, you're required to have some form of leadership philosophies. What would you say are your leadership philosophies?
So for me, the first one would be trust and having a good relationship with your team. I was fortunate with all the leaders that I had, or the people that I reported to, and including my current manager, I report to the CFO. You have that relationship where you can trust each other. You can openly communicate. It's healthy, you don't drag your feet when you need to go to work because you're like, oh, my boss is so hectic, And that's what I've created, that environment with my team, that we have this relationship, this sisterhood, and this love around us that we can trust each other, right? For me, trust, respect is very important. And you don't end there. You also empower your team, because I want them to grow. I want them tomorrow to be the head of tax, and I do that by encouraging them to study, making sure that, I share my knowledge and my experience with them, because some managers, they would hoard work, and they want to keep everything to themselves. I involve my team because I really want them to grow, because I know they can. They're so intelligent. They work hard, and the more exposure you give them, you also get the best out of them. Diamonds are made under pressure, right? So and when I go to the growth and education part, I did the site program, and then one of my team members was like, I want to be a tax advisor, but I'm struggling to get into audit firms that offer the articles. And I was like, hang on, actually, let's find out, let's explore. Maybe we can register Zeda as a training provider. And then I pitched the idea to my seniors. They were like, go for it. Why not? We also want to give back to people that, want to get a good career for themselves. So I'm helping her with the journey. She started her articles, and, I'm the training officer. So going back to passing on the baton, to the next person.
That's amazing. Maybe touch briefly. I know that the interview is about you, but not Zeda. But touch briefly about the training program. What is it? What it entails for a student who's out there who may want to be interested in working under your beautiful leadership? How will they go about it? What is this training program entails?
All right. So, a lot of people are familiar with the CA stream
Correct.
program of, in order to be a chartered accountant, you need to do articles,
Correct.
which is basically work experience for a certain period. So what the tax profession did, we actually created our own tax professional body. Right now, the South African Institute of Tax is running that. So you basically, after you have to do your honors, well, there's different types of one, but specifically the tax advisor one, you need to have an honors, and then you need to go and work at a company that is a it's registered as a work provider for providing articles.
Correct.
And then you get like a logbook where they tell you that you need competencies in employees tax, income tax, the different types of taxes, how many points you need to get, which means you need to get exposure to those type of work, so that by the time at the end, it's a 3-year program, so that by the time you're done at 3 years, it also includes board exam, a first board and a second board. Then at the end of that whole journey, they can officially say that you are a tax advisor of South Africa, because they know that you're competent in doing employees tax, as an example, and so forth. So it's just literally getting you exposure and experience to the different tax types.
That's actually interesting. I think this is one of the things that we need to bring awareness to, and exactly that. Now and then we'll be bringing tax professionals to highlight the tax professional as a career, so that most of you guys can actually embark on taking this career. Maybe let's speak to that younger yourself, starting in the tax as taking tax as a career. What would you tell that younger of yourself, rather?
I'd firstly say I'm very proud of her for being a go-getter. And not having that resilience of not wanting to give up, and to always keep on putting yourself out there in terms of not being afraid to try something. And I started off by saying I hate failing and stuff like that, but failing, you learn through failing. And it shapes you. Sometimes when you do make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. You need to choose at looking at it from, let me learn from this and get better from this, but don't let the first stumbling block stop you from continuing with your journey. Correct. Right? Pick yourself up, try again, and most importantly, you can't do life alone.
Correct.
With tax, you cannot do tax by yourself. Hence, you find so many external service providers. They have seminars, they have conferences, there's always something new in tax. Then we need to discuss, we need to wrap our head around it, we need to figure it out. So you need to be putting yourself out there in terms of doing research. So I tell my younger self, don't stop learning, don't stop growing. Don't think now that you've got a master's, you've reached the ceiling, there's no room for you to learn. There's still so much more for me to learn, because tax is extremely broad.
Yes.
There's international tax, which is its own world on its own. That's why sometimes when you look at your consulting firms, you find the 7 different departments of tax. And you ask yourself, how's that possible? Because you need somebody that will do your controversy work. You need someone that will do your advisory work. Correct. You need compliance. You need international tax and so forth. So don't stop learning. Keep on learning. Keep on being hungry. Keep on being enthusiastic to just learn something new.
If you're not a tax advisor or professional, what would you be doing instead?
I'd be a lawyer.
Okay.
I love talking.
And you're good at it.
I hope. I'd be a lawyer because I love interpreting the law, right? And that's what I love about tax. There's the law side, the opinion writing. So with the lawyer, you get a case, and then you need to go and do your homework. You need to bring so many different acts together to motivate why you want to do what you want to do, or why it shouldn't be done. And I see myself, I like doing that. I like having conversations where there's a point of reference. Sometimes it feels like you're going around the circle to get to the answer, but I feel like I need to come with home. I need to bring receipts to show you why I'm saying what I'm saying. And I think law is one of those fields that excite me. And grew up watching Suits. I was like, I wish I could be, like that. I even, would have loved to be a tax lawyer. Who knows? Maybe I'll end up
being one. Yeah?
Being one. You'll never know.
No, you'll never know.
You'll never know.
Maybe reading too much legislations and interpreting legislations. If you had powers to create any form of tax deduction, what would you actually create?
There's a section that hits hard in the Income Tax Act 23A and B, like your prohibited deductions, where it talks about you can't deduct costs relating to your private maintenance and your dwelling, your residence. I wish I could deduct my bond, my levies, and all of that.
I'm sure you've got friends out there who are listening. You are like, listen, I also want to deduct, my.
Yeah. Maybe a bond. I'm overstretching it, but like your levies, your municipal levies, and it would be nice to get those because just to have a home, you pay so much, because it's literally your bond, your levies, electricity, water, sewerage. There's so much going on just to have a home. So I just wish, I would create that one.
Okay.
I'd create maybe one day.
Yeah.
One day. if I'm sitting in the right spaces.
Yes.
I'm just joking. But I think that would have been a nice deduction, yeah.
Someone told me that you are good at singing.
Whoa!
So Zama is going to sing for us.
No.
Yes, someone told me that you're gonna.
That someone?
They
need to come and
the research department told us that you can sing.
Oh my
so
goodness.
do you want to sing for us or do you want to tell a joke? You pick one. You can't say no to both. So you have to pick one. Okay, guys, what should Zama do? Sing or tell a joke?
Okay, disclaimer. I don't know who told you I can sing, but I can try and sing something. Because jokes is tricky sometimes. It's funny to you, but not to everyone.
Don't worry, I'll laugh.
And now I need to think very hard of a joke, but I think I'll go the singing route.
Okay, maybe we close by singing. Yes.
Okay.
You know why I like people singing?
Yeah.
And this is what we're going to make people to sing at this show because I can't sing to save my soul.
I was going to say you must join me.
No, I can't sing. So I enjoy listening to people singing, especially when they are guests. Please sing. We're closing by Zama singing.
My goodness. Okay, so I mainly listen to gospel.
Okay.
But since it's Valentine's Day,
yes.
About love.
Yes.
A song that comes to my mind, actually, you will guess the name and the artist of the song. At least, you need to participate
Any
somehow.
hints?
I'll sing the song. That's all the hints that you will hum it.
Let's try.
Now I need to remember the lyrics. When I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change. 'Cause girl, you're amazing, just the way you are.
Oh wow!
Name of the song?
I'll let this. I'll let the viewers guess the name of the song.
No.
And the singer. How about that? You guys go out there and Zama is amazing. Brains, can sing, church going. I'm so privileged to have you here. Thank you so much for honoring us and coming through. We really, really, really appreciate you. You are that black child who's sitting somewhere in the middle of nowhere and thinking that, you know what, I can't. By watching this and listening to Zama telling her story, her struggles, her thrums, and people actually holding her hands along the way to now being head of tax. Jeez. Of a listed company. How proud am I? I'm even shivering, guys. Like I've got the chicken. What? I'm so excited. I'm so proud of Zama as a black child who actually now is a corporate leader, head of tax of Zeda. We're proud of the management of Zeda for giving young people, a chance and opportunity to demonstrate their competency. My name is Shilipo Mutiba. I'm your host of the Tax Awareness Show. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.